I always thought love was supposed to feel like butterflies in your stomach. With Ethan, it felt more like checking off a box on a well-organized to-do list. Reliable, presentable, approved by my parents, but never passionate. Still, when he proposed to me on a quiet night at the beach with a simple gold ring and a nervous smile, I said yes. Not because my heart leaped, but because it felt like the next logical step in our 4-year relationship. I thought love didn't have to be fireworks. It could be safe, steady warmth too. But everything shifted that one evening. It was a Friday night, and we were invited to a formal engagement party hosted by one of Ethan's friends. I wore a cream off-shoulder dress, my hair done in soft waves. I remember standing beside Ethan as he greeted everyone like a future senator. Then I saw her. Her name was Lauren. The moment their eyes met, something flickered, something unspoken. I noticed it immediately. The way his hand twitched slightly in mine. The slight catch in his breath. He whispered, "That's Lauren we used to date a long time ago." And I whispered back, "Oh." I didn't overreact. I didn't make a scene. I smiled politely as she walked toward us, her cherry red dress hugging her curves like a memory wrapped in silk. She was graceful, poised, and confident, the kind of woman you never forget. They hugged. Then they started talking, and talking, and talking, as if I wasn't standing 2 feet away. I stepped aside, pretending to engage with someone else. But my eyes kept drifting to them. And then it happened. I saw Ethan lean in. Maybe it was the music, maybe it was the champagne, or maybe it was just old feelings returning in full bloom. But there, under the soft light of crystal chandeliers, he kissed her. Lightly, almost cautiously. But it happened. And I smiled. Not out of pain. Not out of bitterness. I smiled because something inside me finally woke up. I had been holding on to a love that didn't truly belong to me. And that night, I let it go without a single word. I didn't confront him. I didn't cry. I simply waited until we got home, told him I needed space to think, and packed a small bag. He didn't chase after me. Maybe part of him knew what I had seen. Or maybe part of him didn't care enough to explain. For the next few weeks, I stayed with my friend, Emma, in her apartment downtown. It was cozy and cluttered with memories of freedom, laughter, late-night pizza, and moments of true joy. I hadn't felt that way in so long. One evening, as I sipped coffee on her tiny balcony, I opened my laptop and started writing again. Writing had always been my safe place, but I had neglected it during my relationship with Ethan. Slowly, words poured out of me. Poems, short stories, reflections on what love should feel like. It was cathartic. Emma noticed the change in me before I did. "You're glowing," she said one night. "It's like the real you came back." I smiled and hugged her. Maybe because I finally stopped pretending. Then came Lucas. He was Emma's coworker, a marketing strategist with a quiet charm and a crooked smile. We met at a team dinner she invited me to. Lucas wasn't flashy or loud. He didn't try to impress me. He simply noticed me. "You like black coffee," he said, sliding over a cup without asking. "You looked like you had one of those weeks." I chuckled. "You're not wrong." We started talking just as friends. But over time, I found myself waiting for his texts, smiling at his jokes, and replaying our conversations in my head. He wasn't trying to fill a void. He simply saw me. The first time he touched my hand, just a soft brush, it felt like my heart remembered how to beat with joy. With Ethan, I had memorized love like a routine. With Lucas, I felt it. One day, he took me to a bookstore cafe with string lights and soft jazz. He handed me a poetry book, and tucked inside was a note. "I don't know your story, but I'd like to be part of your next chapter." Tears welled in my eyes. No grand gestures. Just honest words. I looked up at him. I think I'd like that too. Months passed. Our connection deepened. It wasn't rushed or reckless. It was slow and steady, yet full of warmth I had never known. Then came the day I received a wedding invitation. My own name printed in elegant cursive beside Lucas's. My heart fluttered, but in the best way. This time, I wasn't walking down the aisle out of expectation. I was walking toward a future I had chosen. The morning of our wedding, Emma helped me into my dress. It was simple, elegant, and soft ivory. As I looked into the mirror, I saw a woman who had walked through disappointment, rediscovered herself, and found love that made her feel whole. The ceremony was set in a garden with wildflowers and soft piano music. Friends and family filled the seats, their faces warm with love. And then, just before the music started, I saw him, Ethan. He stood near the back, stiff in a charcoal suit, eyes scanning the crowd. When his gaze landed on me, time seemed to stop. His face went pale. His mouth opened slightly. He looked frozen. I didn't avert my eyes. I looked right at him and smiled again. Because this time, my smile wasn't hiding hurt. It was filled with peace. As I walked down the aisle, my eyes locked with Lucas. He stood tall, waiting, his eyes full of tears and love. My heart swelled. Every step brought me closer to the life I wanted, not the one I settled for. After the ceremony, Ethan never approached me. He simply faded into the background. A chapter 1 had closed with grace. Lucas and I danced under fairy lights that evening, surrounded by laughter and celebration. And as he leaned in, his hand on my waist, he whispered, "I still can't believe I get to love you." And I whispered back, "You're the best thing I never planned." That night, I realized something beautiful. Sometimes, it takes losing what we thought we wanted to find what we truly deserve. I once smiled through pain, but today, I smiled through joy. And this time it was real.